I'm Terri Murphy with Women in Business, Women in Real Estate, and our guest today is Summer Goralik, and she is an expert at real estate compliance, and she's a consultant and an expert with what we need to know so we don't get in trouble as brokers and broker managers. And one of the top 10 mistakes is broker supervision. And I want you to tell us a little bit about how, as broker managers or broker leaders, we can keep those policies and procedures that kind of go away after we've taken the test, so that we are always compliant.
So a real estate broker under the real estate law is responsible for reviewing, overseeing, inspecting, managing real estate transaction files, broker controlled escrow files, property management activity, advertising, trust fund handling, file storage, making sure their agents are aware of anti-discrimination laws. There are so many areas. It's enforced under Regulation 2725 of the Commissioner's Regulation. If you're a responsible broker out there and you have not read that regulation, please go run and read it. It might be the only law you read, but who cares? It's an important one. But essentially, the broker is the one where the buck stops with the broker, quite frankly. And you have to have a system in place to tackle the review and supervision and monitoring of compliance in all of those areas that I described. A broker can safely lean on other licensed agents and brokers to do this, to help them with this duty, but they cannot relinquish overall responsibility. I remember when I used to investigate these complaints at the DRE, I would ask the broker in an interview, I'd say, okay, do you review real estate files? And they would say no. Some would say no to me. And I'd say, all right, well, tell me how you're getting the work done. If you have 5 agents, you better be doing the work. If you have 5,000, then yeah, you're going to have a more complicated system in place to get the job done. But the bottom line is, be the gatekeeper of compliance, because if anything happens, unfortunately, that real liability does rest with the broker.
And so what do you think is the number one way that they can do that? I mean, if you have, like you said, 100 transactions a month, do you hire an outside person who's familiar? I mean, what would be a remedy if I was watching this and I'd say, my goodness, I can't look at all those transactions. I mean, there's so many nuances. What can I do?
Well, actually, legally, there's only really one thing you can do to safely delegate some of that responsibility to others. And that would be other licensed agents and brokers within the firm. You could delegate some of that review, some of that oversight and supervision to those people, but you have to have policies and procedures. What are those agents and brokers going to be doing, right? How are you going to make sure that they're reviewing the files the way you would be reviewing the files? So you do have to have a very systematic method of review, but you can lean on licensed people within your firm to do that. I would certainly spell that out in a contract if I was delegating some of that responsibility. I'd hate to delegate that to someone and they would say at the 11th hour, I was never supposed to do that. So write that down, delegate it in writing, and make sure you have a system to oversee what they're doing. Spot check. It's all about spot checking when you're a responsible broker. But if you do this enough, your system will become, more and more fluid, and you can get the job done.
And there's obviously so many ways we're going to need you, especially as we go forward with some of the changes that are happening now with virtual presentations. If I wanted to hire you as a consultant or just to speak with you or have you speak at my event, how would I reach you?
Well, you could email me, summer@expertdrecompliance.com, and that's also my website, expertdrecompliance.com.
And we'll be looking for some articles that you've got written. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll join us again soon.
Oh, thank you so much.